And good morning. Welcome to a Tadpoll here for Thursday morning. New surroundings, just for today only, though. We're down at the Huck Boyd Center here, and we're going to be having an opportunity to see some area artists, young artists. They have written the play, the music, they've written the words, the story premise, everything. They've been here all week. They'll be here through tomorrow. They're going to be presenting something tomorrow night right here at 7, what they've been doing, and we will have the opportunity to talk with the two gentlemen who are here, one from Manhattan, New York, not Kansas, Manhattan, the Big Apple. And they'll be talking, that'll be Michael Fink, and then Tyler Grimes from South Florida. They've been here all week working with these kids. We'll have one of the things we're going to do tomorrow. This morning we'll talk with them. Also, we have with us to talk about Fort Bissell, the big day coming up on Sunday, a carousel. I can't wait to see that miniature carousel that Ruby's going to have out there. Ruby Wyman will be with us for that. Also, Jeff Dunlap will be here to talk about the fishing tournament coming up this Saturday at Kerwin. We'll get this, and he's dressed ready to go today, isn't he? Okay. And then we'll also, Angie Wells will be stopping by to let us know how the Rivers Festival. So we decided to come out here and do this since we can be here for a live musical production. They're rehearsing now in the other room. Anyway, Ruby. And again, we thank the sponsors who make it possible for us to come in here on usually downtown on a Thursday morning, but because of the special event going on here tomorrow night, we decided to come out here and go on the road. Ruby, you're on the road this morning. You're going out to Fort Bissell. You're here.
I'm going to go to the fort just after this, but thank you for having me.
Okay. Is Fort Bissell open for the summer now?
We are open for the summer, and that's why we're planning this event that we're having on Sunday at 2 o'clock. We call it Carousel Magic, and it's really the story of the Hoppers family from Long Island. The magic comes in when you hear the story. They toured with this carousel for 2 years. It started in 1897 when Mr. C.W. Parker, he was in Long Island with his carousel that he made. He was the entertainment king of Abilene. And he came out for this reunion. It was the Civil War soldiers and the Women's Relief Corps. They had a reunion planned at Fairyland Park in Long Island. And if you think that they only had 200 people living in Long Island, and they planned this for 5,000 people. And he was there with his carousel, obviously the center of all the fun and festivities. And he was also selling this carousel. So he was trying to get somebody to buy it, and eventually the Hoppers family were interested. So Cora, who was really the mom, she was the brain behind it, the financial guru. And she went through Mr. Parker's books and saw what it looked profitable, and she decided they can do this. So they went to the bank. He wanted $1,250 for this. If you think that a cow cost $5, it's a lot of money. Yeah. Anyway, so the bank, he first had to check Mr. Parker out and everything, but they loaned them the money at 20% interest.
20?
For 2 years. Oh, wow. I think that's when they said bankers are ruthless. But they had to give all their farmland and all the equipment as collateral. They also bought a cultivator and I think a planter to add, because they had to change their crops from wheat to corn so that they could be away for summer. So they set it up once in 1897 themselves just to try it out, and then they hit the road in 1898.
Wow.
They toured the southern part of Nebraska and the northern part of Kansas for 2 years. They did this for 2 summers. Now you want to know, did they make it? Yes, they did, because that's where the magic comes in. They worked as a family while touring. Cora fell pregnant in the first season. The second season, she had a little baby, Melvin, who was actually, they didn't stop them. They still did that. Yeah. After 2 years, they paid off the loan. They made enough money, and they still had $1,200 left to buy extra farmland.
That was big then.
That's a lot of money. Yeah. To buy extra farmland and build a house. It is just, when I read the story and I look at all the facts and things, and I get so excited, and I think, I wish I had a carousel. Yeah. That's how I feel about it. So Connie Cox is going to do a narrative, sort of telling the story as she is Cora.
Sure.
So from that point of view,
Okay.
she's going to do this narrative. She's going to do it twice. It starts at 2 o'clock, so 2:15 will be the first round, and then she's going to do another one at 3:15. We will be serving popcorn, of course,
Sure.
cotton candy, which is sponsored by the Rotary Club.
Right.
And also we will be serving sarsaparilla. So just to
hey.
and we'll have music playing, and we'll just try and create the
wow.
festive.
That's going to be great there.
Yes, the fort will be open for anybody to visit that if they haven't been to the fort and haven't seen it. Sunday's the day.
Yes.
Our blacksmith shop will be open. Our blacksmith will be working. So there's pretty much everything to see.
Wow.
So
It is. Every year you only have something in the summertime to go out. It's fun. You see a
We-
lot of people.
yes,
And getting back to the carousel, now, what happened then? Or do you want to get...
Okay, then they
after
sold it.
After they
They,
sold
they,
it,
they
yeah.
sold it. They sold it because I think that was very wise
Mm-hmm.
because, after 2 years they made their money. They got a great head start in life. They homesteaded in 1883 in that area. And, farming is hard work, but you never really get ahead. You have all the natural disasters and things, as we
Sure.
know, as it is in
Yes.
Kansas. And they just decided it's enough, and obviously having little baby Melvin. They had 2 older sons as well. So the one ran the steam engine, and the other one sold the tickets.
And
So-
the thing was, the first couple of years, kind of new. And if they'd tried to keep doing it, the
Probably.
newness might have worn up a little bit.
Probably. I would love to
Maybe.
hear what Connie says. I don't know the whole story,
Okay, all righty.
but I'd love to hear that. I can just say that it cost them, if you think of the money they made, 40 people on a ride. There's 24 horses and 4 carriages taking 4 people each. So that's 40 people on a ride at 5 cents a head.
gonna
And
say probably a nickel,
a
wow.
ride and a nickel for popcorn. And with that, they made their money.
Wow.
So it's a lot of people to ride to make that money. So, yes, we want to try and recreate the magic. The scale model that we've got, the other thing is I talked about little baby Melvin. His son got his grandpa's name, Frank,
Really?
and he's the one that actually carved this set. So there's a whole family thing with that as well.
So they're all made. It's all homemade. I mean,
It's homemade. It's homemade. It's
Wow.
beautiful. It's got the gypsy wagon. It's got the where they sell the tickets, a little stand with the tickets. It's actually so pretty because it's got like a baby in a shoebox on top of it. So you get
Yeah,
the whole idea.
Now, what kind of power did it?
A steam engine.
Like
A steam
steam engine.
A steam engine pulled it.
Is it working?
No, unfortunately, we couldn't
okay.
get
You
it to
have
work.
more-
There's
I-
some other electrical fault. We wish we
Sure,
could get it to
I
work,
understand.
but it would be great. But
Sure.
no, it's not working at
Well,
the
it
moment.
can, and but it's amazing. And
Yeah.
I was wondering what they didn't have. They couldn't plug it in. They didn't have an extension cord long enough, and they didn't
No,
have
we have,
electricity.
we have, but there's some, it's been on display in Abilene for very long.
Is that the one they advertise on the interstate? Is that the carousel in Abilene?
That's a big one.
Oh, that's a
that's
big
a
one.
big
Okay,
real
so
one.
they have a big one and a little
Yes,
one. Okay.
yes.
The big one they can ride, I think. Right?
I think so. I'm not
Okay,
sure.
yeah,
I
okay,
think so.
Wow.
But
That's
it's
amazing.
it's exciting. So
Oh yes, it's very.
So
wow.
I think it's going to be a great day. We
yeah.
have the exhibition is out. We have this model on loan till the end of June. So then we'll have to go back to Abilene. So if people can't make it on Sunday, it will still be there.
that's
But they won't hear
amazing.
the story.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Okay, so 2:15 and 3:15, see Connie, and she'll do a great job. And she takes on the role, right?
She takes on the role of Cora Hoppus, yes.
Wow. Well, that's great. And
Yeah.
so going out, whether you're a member or not, it's kind of for the
Yeah,
members,
what-
right? But-
We will also have sort of a drive for people to sign up as a friend of the fort or a membership drive. So whoever wants to come and sign up, they're welcome to do that.
Mm-hmm.
So we want to sort of change it maybe to friends of the fort instead of like a member, that. But we will see. We will talk about that.
Okay. What else is going on out there?
Otherwise, we're starting with Fun Fridays for the kids. We will have a blacksmith shop again. I think it's on the 15th.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have my program in front of me. I'm still working on that, but I'll publish it in the local newspapers and on our Facebook page.
And is anything planned? What plans in the future? What? I know there's some plans out there. You'd like to
We-
get covering for something else, right?
Right. The big story is we're going to build a chapel.
Okay.
And we are trying to get some of the stuff from the Lutheran Church in north of Agra. We're going to use some of the elements of that, but we're going to build, it's going to be a new one, and then we will glean from the old church, hopefully the steeple and parts of that. And so we will have our own little chapel on the premises. But this is sort of, it'll take a year, 2 years, 3 years
Sure,
maybe
right,
to finish.
yeah.
So we're very excited about that
Oh,
as well.
yes, that would really be a big addition. I think that when he brought the from Glade, it wasn't Glade then, the railroad.
Yes, yes,
house.
the old depot.
Yeah, and the depot, and then the school building was a great
Yes.
addition. And
Yes.
it's great to have all that.
We need a church to complete our
Is
village.
it right? You get to have a village then.
So the church, and the idea is to have it open year round. So you know, it will be available
Sure.
for small, intimate weddings. It will also be available for like movie nights, or if people want to gather there and to present something.
Sure.
It will be heated and cooled, so it will be open year round, available year round.
So you could get married in there?
Yes,
That'd be great,
yes,
you know.
yes. That's the idea. Get married at
Wow,
Fort Bissell.
That's amazing. I
Yeah,
hadn't thought of that.
it's going to be the size of the school, more or less, of the schoolhouse, but it just be angled in a different direction. So
It'll be right by next to the school?
next to the
Okay,
school,
okay.
so you'll see it as you come in. You should be able to see the steeple. You can't miss it.
What's the most popular, when people stop in, and you hear them comment afterwards on what they read, what's the most popular thing you have at Fort Bissell?
The kids love the school. The men love the guns.
Yeah.
A lot of kids like the critter cabin with all the skins and stuff there, that they can touch
Sure.
and feel and what have you.
Yeah.
They're amazed by the sod house, especially in summer when it's so hot and they walk in there and they feel how lovely cool it is. I love to tell the story of Fred Albright in his cabin. I don't know, it's different things for different people, depends
Sure.
what they're interested in. But the schoolhouse is usually a big draw card, and as I said, the guns. And there's just so much there. The military room also, Memorial Day,
Sure.
the military room
Sure,
also features big. So
The the sod house is a little closer to me because my son, you know the story behind
Yes,
that
yes.
was on the band that made the sod to make the sod house, when they went to the Orange
Correct.
Bowl. And he was in the band, and he helped make the sod. And then, does it stand up pretty good through the times?
Yes. I think the reason is because we put a roof over it, so it doesn't get all the extra rain, and also the stockade protects it from the wind, so it's pretty protected.
Sure.
But it needs some attention.
Yeah.
And I just have to share that one day we had a guy come in. He actually played in the Orange Bowl that year. He was wearing his ring.
Really, he played.
He played in the
Wow.
Orange Bowl.
See,
He
that
was
that
visiting
was Nebraska,
1970.
Nebraska and LSU. played
Yeah,
that game.
so he came around, and this just added to his history, the story that, because he remembered them, and it was just like connecting the dots.
Yeah.
It was great.
LSU and Nebraska, and I got to go along and interview the kids down there. What's neat about that, and that goes way back, I happened to be I had a pass that let me be on the field at halftime, before and after the game, and not during the game. So I went down at halftime and did some stuff, and I thought, I wonder if I could get away with staying down on the field during the ball game. Okay, so I did, and I put my pass, because you see a corner of it. So if any officials thought, well, he could be down here. Well, one of the security guys caught my eye, and I caught his, and he looked at me, and he started coming toward. So I had the camera. I was taking pictures for Huck Boyd here. I was taking pictures, and so every time he'd start coming toward me, I'd get up and run and go somewhere else like I was taking pictures. I wasn't really taking pictures, but I acted like they were really important. I was in outside the end zone, and Jerry Taggy went in with the touchdown that beat LSU and gave Nebraska the national championship. And I was right there. The guy from Sports Illustrated was right next to me, and he said, "What's your?" I knew nothing. I just big camera. I knew nothing about it. And he said, "What's your setting?" I said, "I don't know what's yours." And he said, "Such." I said, "That's what I'm using." And if you
You
bluff
just
your
wing
way.
it. You just-
And walking out after the ball game, Nebraska just won the national championship. The football coach, Delaney, was walking right next to me. I said, "Good ball game, coach." He says, "Well, thank you." And so I kind of went with him. I didn't know how to get out of the stadium, out where the bus was. So I go down and I take this one door. I open it up. I'm in the LSU locker room. I don't know how I got there, and then, of course, the security came at me right away and said I had to get out of there. It wasn't a very happy place then because they just lost the national championship. But that's a long story. But
it's an interesting story.
It's funny.
It is.
I've always said if you act like you know what you can do, and you can do about anything.
You can.
Okay, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to take.
No, that's
but,
fine.
So, but that's the Orange Bowl. That was a good experience to go down there and do that. All right. Let's see. We talked about plans, and again, that's this Sunday.
This Sunday starts at 2 o'clock.
2 to 4.
2 to 4 o'clock. Connie will be doing 2 presentations at 2:15 and 3:15, serving cotton candy, popcorn, and sarsaparilla.
Right,
We'll have music. We will have, as I said, the blacksmith shop will be open. Harlan will be hammering
Showing
away.
how to do that?
Yes,
Okay, wow.
yes, he will be busy there. So I just think it's going to be a fun afternoon.
That's great. And it's going to be a good time, and I'd recommend going out. If you've never been out, Fort Bissell, I'd very much recommend it. You can go out there. Now, what are your hours?
We are open from Tuesday to Friday, 9 o'clock till 4 o'clock. Obviously, we closed right now while I'm here. And then on Saturdays from 2 o'clock till, from 9 o'clock till 2 o'clock.
Okay, all right.
And then Sundays and Mondays we are closed. And the 4th of July also.
Okay. Well,
That's it.
all right. Well, very good. We hope a lot of people show up. And
We hope so,
I know
too.
Connie will do a good job. I went to New York with Connie one time, and she was a hoot.
She is.
Yeah, we got her on the top of the 9/11, the Twin Towers. We were up on the top there, and she got one of these Statue of Liberty foam rubber things and hat, the crown, and put it on. And was wearing that. Yeah,
Connie is good. She
yeah,
is.
she is. All
She's
right.
excellent.
Ruby,
So, but
thank you.
Thank you
for
so
coming.
much.
I'll see you Sunday.
I'll see you
All
Sunday.
right,
Thank
fine.
you.
All right. Thank you. We're going to be talking about a fishing tournament in just a moment here. A reminder that the talk is brought to you, Tadpoll, brought to you by all your friends at the Farmers State Bank in Phillipsburg, where interest begins the moment you enter the door. Interest in you. Member FDIC. Mapes and Miller, it's not what you make, but what you keep. Mid-America Real Estate, providing the best homes in the area for over 40 years. Blossoms and Butterflies, making beautiful flowers a part of your life. Sign Solutions, your one-stop sign shop, and so much more. Madison Motors, in business for over 70 years, and Rogers Associates, your local trusted choice agency, making it possible for us to come down here and do things here on the Tadpole that we really enjoy doing. And Thursday morning, we always have a chance to kind of find out what's going on. I saw Larry Stone last Saturday at the Rivers Festival. I said, "Larry, the fishing tournament's coming up this Saturday." And he said, yeah. And I asked him if he had anything to do with it. He said, well, it maybe helps a little bit because he's retired. So I said, who do I contact? And he said, Jeff Dunlap. He said, I'll do it for you. So he called Jeff Saturday morning. I got Jeff on. Thanks for coming on, Jeff.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Let's talk about you a little bit, then about the tournament coming up. Your background.
I guess I started in government back in 2001 as a wildland firefighter.
Wow.
I traveled all across the country doing that. In 2015, decided to change careers and move over into the law enforcement side, which was a dream of mine clear back when I was in high school. So
No.
I've got to do 2 dream jobs so far in my career. And
You know, when I see you guys fighting these fires, I mean, so where there's a fire, does it have to be a national forest? Is that what makes it for you? Or can you
Nope.
go anywhere?
We can go anywhere. I've been to almost every western state, a lot of states out in the southeast as well, including Puerto Rico. So.
Wow. It's amazing. So if the state calls you in, you can do that, or doesn't it have to be a federal? Does that have something to do with the federal government, though?
Yeah. So when you get a large incident, large fire incident, usually it kicks off federal funding, and so they bring in federal resources, and the federal government kicks in to help bring in all these different resources, such as contractors and state entities and the federal entities as well. So
you find, well, I'm going here, and What was the biggest fire what's the one that stands out?
I think that's tough. There's a
What-
couple. There's a
what's your-
couple that were really significant. There was one out in Colorado. I think it was 2012 or right around there,
Mm-hmm.
and we lost quite a few homes on my
Wow,
last few
yeah,
days while I was there. So
Is it, and I know Yellowstone, they decided, they tried burns up there, and they got some criticism for that, I think, and I don't know whatever came of that, but it's a controlled burn kind of thing, I think, was it? And whether that's good or bad, we won't get into that, because I don't know that much about it.
yep.
But, wow.
So we do that type of stuff out on the Kerwin Refuge.
Okay.
Do controlled burns.
Sure.
Most of the work we do out there with controlled burns is targeted for wildlife habitat.
Sure, right.
But it also does prevent catastrophic wildfires
Sure.
if we were to get one started. There is a reduction in fuel, is what we call it, the grasses. So if a fire were to run into that area, it would just slow down and possibly
Sure.
be able to be stopped
Sure.
right there.
And that makes sense. It really
Yeah.
does, to keep it, and it's for the wildlife. That's what Kerwin's there for. It seemed to me like, and I'll get to talking about the fishing tournament. I'm glad to have you here because I can ask you other questions. If you fight a fire around here, it's on level, but it has to be just impossible almost in the ravines and everything. It's not level out there when you're fighting those forest fires.
No, it's a totally different tactic that you take when you're out in the mountains. That's why we typically post what we call lookouts. We place them high up on a mountain so they can see you and the fire and
Sure,
let you know what's going on. And you get hourly weather updates, and really, you're pretty safe
Yeah.
for the most part.
You watch TV now and you see those fires that bring back memories.
Oh yeah, I miss it a lot. I really do.
Okay, so you went into. So what is your job now then?
So I'm the federal wildlife officer out at Kerwin National
Okay.
Wildlife Refuge. Being federal, I do go to other states, and I work up in Nebraska. I'll be out in Colorado for antelope and elk seasons
Wow, really?
on some other
Okay.
federal properties out there. We get called up for natural disasters as well. I went out for hurricanes out in Florida last year.
Wow, you didn't go to Puerto Rico, you know?
No, they
hurricane?
were getting ready to send us there,
Really?
and things just didn't work out. So
They
ended
really
up
got
sending
problems. Still have problems down
Yeah.
there if you watch TV. You
Yeah,
know,
a lot of
and-
our counterparts actually did go, and
Really?
they actually were there when the hurricane hit.
Really?
They sent
Wow.
them early before the storm hit, and they had
Mm-hmm.
to ride it out in what they considered a fortified hotel.
Yeah.
So they
wow.
they said it was pretty nerve-wracking.
Yeah, and some people, they still don't have any services there, and
Yep.
the death toll has gone up
Yep.
appreciably. I guess 10 or 15 times what they thought it was. And
Yeah.
it'll take a while to get this. So, all right, then. So, reason why I wanted to hear, I want to talk about the fishing tournament. What's that involved? And it's Saturday, right?
So it's actually the kids fishing clinic is what it is.
okay.
And what we do is we bring out the kids, and we provide them information on knot tying, casting, baiting hooks, fish identification, boater safety, laws and ethics.
Wow.
Then once we do all that, all the kids get a goodie bag, and in that goodie bag is a bunch of literature, the regulations, places to fish, some other information on fish identification. There's some stickers and pencils, but I think the things that the kids are most excited about is there's a little tackle box in each bag.
Really?
And so they get some fish
A
hooks and
tackle
jigs.
box?
Yep.
Wow, that's neat.
And
Okay.
usually we give them a stringer and some bobbers and things like that, so they can at least get started. After we get done with everything, we have a hot dog feed with drinks provided.
Sure.
All the food and everything's provided as well, chips. And then we give out some door prizes, basically. We try to have enough prizes for pretty much every
Sure,
kid.
right.
Some of the prizes are a little bit more age restricted, such as some fillet knives. So it's some of the older kids that will get those, or if one of the younger kids actually wins one, it'll be up to the parents whether or not they want that child to have that prize or not. So
Okay, now, but does a boy or girl have to bring their own?
they do not.
pole, or how does that work?
We provide about 30 fishing poles for them to
Ooh,
use.
Wow.
And included in the prizes are fishing poles
Oh,
for the kids to
really?
win and take home. But yeah, we'll tie all the knots for them, put all the hooks on. We'll be baiting hooks for them. We'll provide worms
Really?
and minnows, and so they'll have a good time.
That's great to get them interested in that because, fishing, looking back when I was a kid, I did it with my uncle in the summertime. We'd always go fishing, and, boy, when that cork went down, a lot of times it's just a crawdad or a
Yep.
turtle, but a lot of times you maybe have a little sunfish or something on there, or maybe a bullhead or something like that,
Oh yeah.
Okay. How's fishing been out there this year?
It's been pretty hit and miss with all the moisture we've been getting. It cools down the lake water, and it's been occurring right when our fishing spawn is supposed to be occurring. And so when that happens, the fish end up diving deep and spawning down low where it's hard to catch them.
Sure.
So a lot of the boaters are having some luck, but it's like I said, it's real hit and miss. One day they'll do really well, and the next day the guys
Well,
are struggling to even get a bite. So
Like you always used to say, that's when the sun was up or if it's cloudy, even that, all the old stories about if it's cloudy, sunny. If the sun's not up, the best time to fish is 5 to 6 in the morning. I don't know. That's when they're feeding, but
yeah.
and that's the way you kind of fish, and so how's the water level out there? It's pretty good right now.
The lake, the level at 1729.25 is full. We're currently we were last week at 1731 point something.
Sure.
So we were a couple feet into flood stage.
Really?
So they've started releasing some water on the
They did?
backside,
Okay.
just to draw it down so we don't damage roads and
Sure.
some of the habitat.
Sure. Wow.
Irrigation season's coming up on us here pretty quick, so they'll start drawing it down here in the next couple weeks through June or through July.
I love driving 9 and along there you see. I didn't know until the last time I went. I'm going to look and see where that water goes under the road to get on the north side, And I finally figured out where that was, And then you see those ditches going here, there, and everywhere, and you drive there, and you see the ditches full of water. So that's really great, and it has this dual purpose. And I think water goes all the way down to Osborne or something. Or got far down.
It goes pretty far east. I can't remember exactly where the irrigation part stops.
Yeah.
Then it dumps back into another channel and actually goes back into Glen Elder.
Really?
Yep.
I wasn't aware of that.
Yep.
So
So any water that's not used ends up in Glen
well,
Elder.
that's good.
Yep.
Glen Elder's full now. Too.
They are full. all of our lakes around here are pretty well full, especially Webster.
I drove by North Harlan yesterday, and there it's back.
Yep, they're doing really well.
So it wasn't for a while, but now the water's coming in. I don't know how much rain. You don't know how much rain. Did you get any rain last night?
We at the refuge, I saw this morning. I think we got 6,200.
Really?
So
Okay, I
a
didn't.
little over half inch.
Okay.
So
We're finding out a lot about Kerwin. I've always said that Kerwin is one of the best kept secrets in this part of the country.
I think it's a jewel of the prairie right
It
there.
is.
It really is. I tell a lot of people that it's the outdoorsman's dream. All the wildlife related activities that you can do out there is just wonderful.
Yeah. Someone asked me the other day if any water had ever gone over the spillway. I don't know whether it has.
It has.
It has?
I do believe that was back in 2010.
Really? Okay.
When they were releasing it out the riverside, they actually released too much and washed out the bridge right there.
Okay.
So then they had to shut down the road and then redivert the water over to the spillway.
Okay.
So
I can remember, I don't know whether they can now, but I used to take my boys down, and we could fish at the spillway. That was usually pretty good fishing in the spillway.
Yep.
Okay. You don't have anything to do like, this is federal, is the one at Plainville in Rooks County, is that a state lake there?
those are state.
Yeah, you don't have anything.
State or community lakes.
Okay, you don't have.
Nope.
So this is federal, is Glen Elder federal?
Part of it is federal.
Part of it, I see.
Yeah, and so like Harlan, it's federal as well.
Okay.
So,
But this was
there
made-
are state parks on those that aren't controlled by the federal
Was
government.
Kerwin set up initially as a wildlife or as flood control, maybe? Well, obviously irrigation because
So,
they
yep,
built irrigation.
it was created. They started construction, I think, in around the 1950s, and completed everything 1952, 1953, somewhere around there, and then the refuge was established in 1954. Kerwin is considered an overlay. An overlay is ground that was built up by another entity and then refuge put over top.
Okay, I see.
So we don't actually control any of the water.
Okay.
We just control really the land and the surface as far as laws and habitat and things like that.
Wow.
But there's only, I can't tell you exact numbers, but there's not very many overlays out there.
Yeah.
So
Okay, well, so fishing's kind of depends on when and where,
yeah,
right?
it's
Okay.
pretty slow right now, but folks can get into them out there a little bit, especially on the flats.
Have you
right
been
now.
involved with the tournaments before this year? Or is this your first year?
Nope, I've been involved in all the kids' fishing days since 2009,
Wow. Okay.
I think.
What are when the kid maybe fishing for the first time throws it out? Now, do you use a rod and reel, or do you use just the old-fashioned fishing pole with the line on the end and the
So
bottom?
we'll use a rod and reel. We use Zebco's. Zebco's is probably the easiest one for the kids to learn
Sure,
on, and it's one of the ones that's the least or most foolproof for the kids. So
I remember before they were spinning, they had the old kind, you reel like that, and you'd throw it out and you'd cast out, and then you'd have a backlash in there, and you'd spend half the day getting your line out
Yeah.
so you could roll it back in. What are the kids when they catch their first fish? What's that like when they pull that in and maybe it's a channel or something?
you get mixed reactions. Some
Yeah.
kids are show a little bit of terror as they're shocked that they just caught a fish, and
Yeah.
some kids are dropping their poles and running and
Yeah.
thinking, hollering at their parents, trying to get them to come down and see what they did. And it's usually a great thing
It
either
is.
way. So
And I think it's very important ethics and rules, and you do it right.
Yep.
And do you find much catch and release anymore? Or?
I do. There's quite a few folks that come out to Kerwin, especially some locals. They come out there just for the sole purpose of being outside and catching fish and enjoying the outdoors. There's one gentleman that comes to mind specifically, and I hope he's actually out there listening today.
Yeah.
I'm not going to name him by name. He comes out almost daily, and any fish he catches, he immediately just turns it right back. And makes other fishermen that want to keep fish just cringe, because he'll bring in very large keeper fish,
Right,
and
yeah.
he'll just throw it right
Yeah,
back.
well, some people like to do it to eat, and I'd go fishing. I wasn't very. When I would bring, my wife did not like me to catch fish. She
Yeah.
did not want me to bring fish in that house because she didn't want to have to fix it.
Yeah.
Same with pheasant hunting. Don't get any pheasants today. Just go out and run and walk around. Don't bring any pheasants home because I don't want to. Because she ended up, she'd probably have to clean them. So if I'd ever get a pheasant, I'd say you go ahead and take it. So that it was just the fun of doing it, being out and having that opportunity to do things.
Oh yeah.
So things like that is really amazing. Well, we hope a lot. What's the age group?
It's open to any age group.
I mean, I
as far
can come
as-
out.
Oh yeah, yeah. We encourage anybody and everybody to come out. We used to try to do it in conjunction with the free fishing weekend that the state
Sure,
holds.
right? Yeah.
But unfortunately, we were pretty much competing with Riverless Festival.
Yeah.
And
I
Riverless
remember that. I
Riverless
remember,
Festival
yeah.
draws all the kids because of all the inflatables and all
Sure.
the talent shows, and we just had a pretty low turnout when
That
we were
makes
doing
sense. That really
it.
does,
So
yeah.
we decided we're not going to compete with them anymore,
yeah.
and we made our own day. And
I remember
it
that.
changes every year a little bit. We try to get it to where it's going to work out best for fishing, so the kids can actually catch fish. But sometimes it doesn't work out that way.
I've known Larry Stone's been a friend of mine for a long, long time. He's a really special friend, I think. And then when I saw him there, I said, I'm going to see if he was still involved with it. And he said, I think he may help. He helps you with it. And
I call him every year. He's a great source to just come out there and talk to the
come
kids.
out and help the kids. And you talk about the regulations and how many kids usually show up? Is there?
Last year was pretty low numbers. We did it a little bit earlier in May, and it was really, really cold.
Yeah.
So we had very few kids show up. I think one of our record attendance days was somewhere between 30 and 40.
Everything's there. All they have to do
Everything's
is they don't
there.
have
All
to
they got to do
worry
is show
about.
up.
Okay. When you show kids how to bait the hook, with the I don't know if people still use minnows. Do they still use minnows? Okay, or the worm, or we had it. growing up, we had a bait for channel cats, a catfish stink bait, where you take the sponge and put it in, and
Yep.
the fish really like that. Catfish really like that.
Yes, they do.
And so they still fish.
They still do. Some of the folks still use that, and some of them like to use more of the live bait, or
Sure, right.
it just really depends on the fisherman.
So,
Some of them use everything. They take everything out there and try
they have
everything.
everything. They try it
Yep.
all. Well, it's not biting on this, but it's doing it on the spinner or something,
Yep.
right? The
Yep.
spinners work pretty good out here. That's more for a trout kind of thing.
Not so much out at Kerwin, but you might be able to catch some bass. We stocked in roughly 90,000 largemouth bass last year. and
Really? Wow.
I think every one of them fish survived, and because everyone's talking about how many bass they're catching. So
Really?
none of them are keepers yet, but
Yeah. Well-
they're young fish.
Okay, so
So
well, it's amazing. I think that everyone, it is a jewel to have the opportunity, and they had one weekend they had something on. They had a canoe thing out there one time, and people brought their canoes and people could go, and that was really special. We
Yeah.
could go up the channel there and everything. And we hope that a lot of kids show up out there, and if they've already fished, let them come again. And
oh yes,
and
they came last year. We welcome them
Yeah.
back this year.
okay, well,
So-
very good. I appreciate you coming in.
Yep, it'll be on Saturday at 9:00.
9 o'clock. Just come to Kerr. Do you come to the office?
So from the office, you'll probably you'll go east to the North Shore boat ramp. That's
North Shore
approximately a
boat
mile
ramp.
from the office.
Okay, North Shore Board.
Yep,
Okay.
and I think a lot of people around here knows
Sure,
where that
sure,
is, and
yeah.
if they don't, they can give the office a call,
Yeah.
and we'll be happy to guide them.
Wow, that's great. I think every young boy and girl should have the opportunity to do that and see what it's like. Some may not like it, but others get hooked on it. I mean,
Oh,
really,
yes.
like you mentioned, I know a lot of people to go out there about every day when they can.
Oh yes, definitely. We actually have another event coming up in June.
Okay.
It's a goose banding event where we actually go out and corral all the geese that have molted.
Really?
Basically, they've lost their flight feathers.
Yeah, right.
And we corral them up on shore, and we put bands on their legs.
Really?
And we get the kids involved with helping that. That'll be sponsored and assisted by Ducks Unlimited.
Okay.
And they have a group called the Green Wing Club, and they encourage the kids to sign up for that and to help out with our goose banding event. So that should be coming up later on in June.
Okay, that's great. Any eagle?
Eagles, we've actually got 2 nesting pairs on the refuge, one at Quillback, and that one has, I think, 2 eaglets. And,
How do you find out? Do you look binoculars,
Yep.
or how you do that?
Yeah, we keep our distance and we look
Well,
up
yeah,
there and
right,
we wait
yeah.
until they pop their heads up, and then you can just start counting. Now they're old enough that they're actually out on some branches and stretching their wings, getting ready to start trying to fly.
Really?
So
Now they migrate then, or they go somewhere? They stay around? Or?
these will probably stick around for quite a while.
Mm-hmm.
They might even stick around clear through into winter. The parents might move off a little bit later on and go up to another lake or somewhere else, but you just never know. As long as they've got a food source, they'll stick around.
Wow. Can you tell if the same pair comes back, or do you know?
We don't know.
Okay.
Typically, a pair will come back and reuse the same nest each year, at least for a few years.
Okay. Wow.
Sometimes they'll abandon a nest, and we do have a few abandoned nests out there. So
But so would another eagle ever use another one's nest? Or
They will.
They will. Okay.
Yep.
All right.
Yep.
So that's interesting. Anything else interesting going on out there? Do you have any falcons out there? Do you?
there's a few.
Really?
Here and there. I don't see them too much,
Yeah.
but there are a few.
Wow. Okay.
I can't think of any other events that are coming up off the top of my head, but the kids fishing day is the big one this weekend, and then the DU goose banding one at the end of the month, I think.
Okay.
So
Well, hey, I really appreciate you
Yeah.
coming on.
Thanks for having me.
A lot of information there.
Yeah.
You kind of, when you drive by there, and you look down and you see all the water. So, man, it's really great to see the water in there.
it is.
And doing the good like it does. So
Yeah.
Okay, well, hope you have a good day. And
Yes,
hope
you too.
A lot of kids show up.
Well, I hope so
All
too.
right. Uh-huh.
Take care, Ted.
Yes, thank you, Jeff. Jeff Danlap with us. And a reminder also, the program brought to you by Phillips County Health Systems, Olive Pope Memorial Chapel, Stephen E. Rush, your State Farm agent, Sonic Drive-In. Like us on Facebook to see their Sonic deals. Phillipsburg Chamber and Main Street, where the roads are paved with opportunity. Farmers and Ranchers Outlet and J&R High-Vac R. If you just joined us, we are not in our usual surroundings. We are down at the Huck Boyd Center getting ready to get some live music and talk to some two young gentlemen who are here with kids all week working on this, the Lovewell Institute thing. It's a great idea. We'll talk more about that. But before we do that, we have Angie back, and you survived Riverless Festival.
Oh,
Right?
yes, I did. Thank goodness. But why I'm here is I just kind of wanted to tell everybody thank you for
Sure.
everything that they did. And I can't really name names because I'm afraid I'd leave someone else, and I don't want to hurt anybody's feelings. But just our sponsors this year, it was wonderful. I think everything went really well. I mean, there was a few things, but we're really excited and going to start getting stuff ready for next year because next year is our 35th annual Riverless Festival.
35 years.
Yes,
Wow.
35 years. And so we're going to make it bigger, better, ready to go. So anybody wants to help, give me a call
Sure.
and we'll just do what we can do. But the band was really good. The men's softball tournament, I found out that Outlaws won.
Okay, well, I
And
would
so-
go by that evening. Where all the then I
Yeah.
remember they had the softball
Yep,
tournament.
Yep,
on.
they did. The turtle races. I was so worried about all the turtles. There was turtles.
Were there?
Yes, there was lots of turtles, and so that was really fun.
What were the biggest turtles? What was the biggest? Do you have a big turtle?
Yeah, but we didn't measure them. We just kind of
Okay,
eyeballed it this year, and then we had a little itty bitty turtle, and it was so cute. But I just want to thank my daughter Caitlin and Austin for doing that because they kind of took that over, and Dakota Wilkinson helped them, and it was really nice because it left me to go do other things.
Sure.
And Brandon Kibbe, he took over the car and the bike show, and Phillips County Health Systems takes over the run. So it's so nice to have that help and have other people do the things, and it just makes it a more enjoyable day for me.
I was sitting down on the porch Saturday morning. Here the runners came by my house. It
Yep.
was kind of neat, and the walkers and
Yep,
the runners. And
yep.
as he said, it was a beautiful day too.
Yes,
and
yes, it was nice. A little windy
Yeah.
in the morning, but then it toned down, and it was great. So we had the virtual reality roller coaster, and it was busy
Did
all
you
day.
ride it this year?
I did not. I did not get in there this year. I was really busy, so I didn't really get in
Sure.
there. The inflatables, we kind of had to watch that a little bit because of the wind.
Yeah.
But the bouncer was awesome. The kids just loved that. That was constant all the time,
Sure,
and so
yeah.
it was a lot of fun.
Well, save their beds at home. They didn't have to
Yeah,
bounce them.
no
I think
kidding.
I really think that's the way it is. Kids like to jumping down on
Yep.
the bed. I remember.
Yep, and now they have those trampolines, that you can have
Yeah,
in your
right,
backyard, or
yeah.
you can have whatever. We never had one because I always was worried the kids would fall off
I
and break
know,
their arm
yeah,
or
or
something
go,
like that.
go to the edge or something. Yeah, no.
they had
I-
those nets on there, but I still,
Yeah.
And doing daycare, you couldn't have one anyway.
Right, you're
so,
right.
but just I want to thank everyone for helping and for sponsoring the car and the bike.
Okay, yeah, let's talk about the cars.
Okay, so we had a top 5 rides. We had best car, best Chevy, best engine, best Ford, best hot rod, best interior, best late model, best Mopar, which is like a Dodge or a. It's kind of a funny story because it's like a Dodge or a GMC or something like that, And the guy who won it actually owned a motorcycle. And so I think when they voted on it, they thought a Mopar was more like a moped.
Really?
Yes.
Okay.
So
all right.
anyway, but he took it with a smile, and so he got it. But yeah, a Mopar is a vehicle, but
Yeah.
it's like a Dodge. Best paint job. So next year I'll know how to change that to either like a Dodge or
Yeah,
something. Best rat rod, and Brandon Kibbe made that trophy, and it was amazing.
Really? Yeah.
Yes, and Science Solutions made the rest of them, the trophies, the plaques, everything, and they did so much hard work this week that Science Solutions did, and they do such a great job. So if you need them, use them. Where am I at? Okay, best street rod, best truck, best wheels, best youth entry, Chamber and Main Street choice,
Jiminy.
Fireman's choice, longest traveled, Mayor's choice, most unique, People's choice, and Sheriff's choice.
Wow.
So we had
Okay,
quite
yeah.
a few.
Yeah, and there's some great models down
Yes,
there and everything.
really neat, really neat. So
So who won the mayor's choice? Do you have their name? Or?
I didn't grab that sheet with
Okay,
me,
that's
but I don't
fine.
know.
That's-
But
what
Lance
was
did pick
Can
it
you
out.
know what it was, though?
I
Okay,
can't
you
remember.
got-
That day
okay,
just
okay,
kind
sure.
of is
I
now a
understand
blur.
that. I know,
So
yeah.
I do know that the truck that I picked it because it was kind of funny because it was a truck when I got my first kiss.
Oh.
So I had to.
Oh, hey,
I thought.
all right. Hey, we have a little expose going on here.
So that wasn't that truck, but it was like that truck, and so I thought,
You're-
that brings back a lot of memories. So
I won't. Shall we go any further on this?
no, we won't go any further on this. But anyway, so that was riverless, but it was a lot of fun.
I don't remember.
You remember your first kiss?
No,
No?
that had to be in college. I didn't do much in high school.
Oh, I see.
I didn't have a car
I see.
until I got to be a senior. You
Okay.
know, and who was I don't even remember. I'm not
Remember?
I'm not even gonna go there.
Yep,
Okay.
Yep. And I did want to tell you happy birthday. Yesterday was your birthday.
Right, yeah.
So happy birthday. Hope
Thank
you
you.
had a great day.
Oh yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
Good.
I had
Good.
ice cream and pie last night.
Wow, good.
And yeah, it was good.
Good.
85.
85.
Yeah.
You don't look 85.
Well, thank you, but sometimes I feel like 90. But
Well,
yeah, it is.
we all do. We
yeah.
all
So
can- we all
no,
do that.
I really feel good.
Well, good.
Okay.
That's what's important. Hey, and I brought you a table tent.
Oh, that's what I was gonna.
So
I was gonna.
you can
Sure.
go on that and you can see
I love
it's
that.
kind of we're kind of down here, but and I love Jeff talking about the youth fishing day and
Wasn't
everything.
that was a good interview.
Yes,
wasn't
it was. It was very good and very informative. We
Yeah.
are so lucky to have those kinds of things in our community, and just Kerwin in general, Prairie View, Long Island, Stuttgart. We have so many different things that people don't know what's going
sure.
on, and this kind of is supposed to help them know where to go. Like AGRA, AGRA's having different things, and
Yeah, now this
Sam
really helps because I
Logan
can look on there for the
yeah.
next week and get
Yep.
people to come on.
and Tammy, bless her heart, she put down kind of like who you can get
Yeah,
contact.
I know it. That's
So, yeah.
great. In fact, I thought this morning I was sitting here before I came down there. I thought, I wonder if I should text you and have you bring one, and you
Yep.
did. So
Yep.
you read
Yep.
my mind.
I did, and then I sent out also. It's all on the newsletter. So the June newsletter from Phillipsburg Chamber Main Street, the Berg and Beyond, was sent out yesterday,
Mm-hmm.
and so everything will be on there also. So hopefully, if people don't see the table tents at different businesses, and if they're a chamber member, then they can see the newsletter.
The planners look great. I
Thank
think
you.
anyone coming through this community has to see that and really,
Yep,
really
we
think, man,
just-
and the barn
Quilts.
quilts.
Mm-hmm.
I know they're barn, but it's they just. You have them all up now.
We don't have one. We don't
Okay.
have one over by Fort Bissell. That's the only one that we're waiting on. And Ruby's working on that, but she's got some other projects
Sure.
going on
Yeah,
too.
she
so
does. Yeah, she's
she's a
busy.
busy gal. But we got them all, whatever, and want to thank the people that participated in helping do the barn quilts, the city, First National Bank and Trust, Phillipsburg Chamber of Main Street, and then all, of course, CVB and all the people that painted them,
Okay.
because they do make a statement.
Okay,
So,
I'm going to be talking to Terry Thomas again. I was telling give Terry a call. Okay.
okay.
So what else is coming up this summer?
Well, this summer, of course, we'll have things going on before the rodeo, and it's going to be the bales and bales and benches, and so you can decorate the different members and stuff that want to decorate their bales or decorate a bench. Then that kind of gets people ready for rodeo.
Sure.
And we got a T-shirt contest going on right now, so everything's due tomorrow, but we may extend it. So I don't know if you've seen it on our Facebook page. It's where people can design the rodeo T-shirts.
I haven't seen that yet.
Yeah, it's on Facebook. And then what you can do is you enter your design, and it can be just a drawing. It can be on a computer. It can be anything that people want to submit. And then the Phillipsburg Chamber Main Street Board, they don't know whose they are, and they get to pick their favorites. So there's like a pink one for Tough Enough to Wear Pink. There's a rodeo shirt, our annual shirt, a kid's shirt. So there's 4 different categories that you can enter. So please get on Facebook and look at that. And then we'll have the rodeo parade. And so if you want entries and stuff like that, we'll have forums and stuff at the office and everywhere else. And we got our grand marshal picked this year already. We're not putting that out because we're doing something different this year. And so it's going to be a lot of fun.
Do I know who it is though?
You
Did
might.
did I see the name? Can I do? You don't want me to mention?
Well, it's Monica Riggs,
Yeah,
and
right,
she is
yeah.
Miss Kansas,
Right.
and so she is going to be our grand marshal this year, and we're really excited to have her do that for us. And then after that, after the parade, she's going to be with the photo booth and be able to take pictures with people.
Okay.
So that's going to be a lot of fun.
A lot of
So-
things going on.
Yes,
this
and we're going
summer.
to try to have some different things at the rodeo parade downtown. Maybe some food vendors, maybe some, Knights of Columbus always does their ice cream. They sell out really quick because it's
Yeah.
really good.
I get down there early in the morning. I usually buy about 25 of
Do
them
you?
and take them, put them in the freezer.
Yep,
so
that's a good idea.
It's homemade.
Yes.
There's nothing like homemade.
That's right.
Nothing like homemade.
That's right.
You can buy this premium ice cream at the store, but there's nothing like
Nope,
homemade ice cream.
nothing at all. So we'll have some different things this year at the rodeo parade. So I'm really excited about that. But it's just going to be a great time. So I'm sure I will come up with a lot more that's going on.
Okay.
So, but I see the kids in here, and I want
Yeah.
you to start talking to them.
I'm
So
looking forward to talking with the two gentlemen that are here who have
Mm-hmm.
spent this week with them. And tomorrow night, I'm looking forward to coming here and sing. They've done it all on their own,
Yep.
the music, the words, the premise of the whole. It's a musical.
it's amazing.
You'll have almost a Broadway musical here tomorrow
Yes,
night, and I'm looking
yes.
forward to.
We
to that
have
coming up.
we have so much talent in this town
Mm-hmm.
that I don't think a lot of people realize how many talented people there are, and just from music and arts and performing and just a little bit of everything. I
Sure.
mean, dance. There's just so many talented people. So we're just proud to live in Phillipsburg, proud to live in Phillips County. Right, Ted?
Right, I'm glad to have
Okay,
you here.
yeah,
All right.
all right.
I'm
You-
glad that everything went well. Looking forward to 35 next year.
Yes.
Okay, fine.
Yes.
Thank
Looking
you.
forward to a lot more years. So,
All right, Paula.
All right.
Okay,
See you
while
later.
I'm getting set up here for the phone call to Terry Thomason, I want to also mention that I think I may have lost there. Maybe I did. I'll have to get it for me again. Okay, we're going to talk about the Relay for Life coming up this Saturday in Phillipsburg. It's the Norton and Phillipsburg have gone together with the Relay for Life. It's going to be from 6 until 11 on the square. Relay for Life with Phillips and Norton counties, the courthouse square, 6 until 11. Help them in the fight against cancer. There'll be lots of fun with music, games, and raffles and more. There's teams to see who can walk and everything. The Relay for Life, again, this Saturday evening, down on the square in Phillipsburg. Last year was in Norton, this year in the Phillipsburg. And from 6 until 11, go out and see a lot of friends, a lot of those who survived cancer. They'll be in the T-shirts and so on. So we invite everyone to take part in all the festivities. Okay, this is live, what we're doing here. Do we have you there, Terry?
Yes, Tad, I'm here. Good morning.
I've got you. You can hear me okay?
Yep, I can hear you just fine.
Okay. Hey, it's been 2 weeks since we talked with you. That's 2 weeks closer to next spring.
You know what? It sure is getting kind of scary. There's a lot of planning left to do, but we'll get it done.
Okay, well, how are things looking for next year?
Looking really good. We've got a lot of exciting things planned for the trip. Like we told you last time, we're going to add a few things this year, Mount Vernon being one of them. So keep Susan and I busy getting all that stuff organized and ready to go for everybody.
Okay, well, anything new in New York?
Just the Empire State Building. We're going to put that back in the mix this year.
Okay.
We hadn't done that for a long, long time, so we're going to do that.
Okay. We have
And as you know, we did the Tribute Center years ago.
Sure.
We didn't do it for a few years, and we're going to do that again.
that's a special place. We have, this morning, I'll be talking with a couple of gentlemen. One of them is from Manhattan. And I said earlier, not Manhattan, Kansas. It's not the Little Apple, the Big Apple. And he's going to come, and I'm going to quiz him about Manhattan. And you know what I think of the trip back east. So, are you still looking for a few people to go?
Yes, we sure are. We still have a little bit of room, so we'd sure love for anybody out there that's interested to contact us. We can give them the information, and hopefully they can go along with us.
Okay, who should they contact? Is someone out there? I'm going to do that, and you know how much I think I went 40 back there 40 times with you guys, and it was just fun. I always felt it's a great, someone always wanted to go there, and they could go, and then they kind of see how it is, and then go back on their own after they kind of, have seen some of the things, they know where to go and everything. I think that's a great thing. So who do they contact?
Well, they can contact you, like we said last week.
Yeah.
And then, of course, you can get them in touch with me, or they can just call me directly if they'd like.
Okay, and to do that, then you're getting pretty close to the deadline.
No, we've still got a little bit of time.
Okay, all right.
They've got a month or so to think about it.
Okay,
so
and
no big rush.
And the reason why you have to know is you have to get tickets. Now, my understanding is that you were able to get 50 tickets to Hamilton for $50 a piece. Is that right?
Yeah, we actually got 100 of those, Chad.
Yeah, I tell you what, if you got them for $50 a piece, I don't know how you could turn that into ready cash, right? Pretty quick.
Yeah, you sure could.
Okay.
What are they going for?
Okay. So where
$600 now?
yeah, which one are you going to here? Are you going back to Phantom, or where are you?
We haven't completely decided.
Okay, all righty.
What we're going to do. Phantom is definitely in the mix, but that could change too.
Sure, right.
We're kind of waiting on some other things to show up.
I understand.
For them to give us some final pricing.
Right,
before we decide.
that's for sure, and it's just a great opportunity, and I'd recommend it to anyone, and we're not just talking about students, adults. Adults enjoy it, very, very much enjoy.
Yes. Yep. All adults are welcome too. So anybody that's listening or watching us can sure contact us if they're interested.
Okay, I'll tell you what. We'll talk to you again in a couple of weeks and see how things are going.
All right.
Yeah. Your phone number. What's your phone number? We ought to get that out. Their phone number.
Okay. It's 303 808 6864.
And if they call me, I've got your number in my phone, so there's no problem. But just give me a call anytime. I'll be glad to put them in touch with you.
All right.
Okay. Well, you have a good day. Did you have any rain last night?
Nope, not a drop. Got a lot of wind, but no rain.
I think we had pretty good rain last night. I had a fellow on from Kerwin. I think had 6,800s out of Kerwin there. So it was a thunderstorm. I think we had wind, so it was coming down here to the Huck Boyd Center this morning. Some limbs out there, so we had some wind with it. Okay, well, you have a good day, and we'll be talking to you.
Dad.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot.
Bye. Okay, there we go, Terry Thomason, and now we're going to. Thank you. Next, we're going to talk about what's been going on here since Monday here at the Huck Boyd. We're going to be talking with Michael Fink from Manhattan and Tyler Grimes from South Florida. Good morning, gentlemen.
Good morning.
For coming on
Thanks
the
for
show
having
this
us.
morning. Yes.
Thank you for having us.
Yeah, great to be there. I'm looking forward to this interview and to what you're doing here, because I had a chance to see you working the other day with it, and it's amazing. I'm glad to see something like this come here.
Thank
but
you.
let's talk first about. I'll leave Manhattan to last. Let's talk about South Florida.
Yeah, so I've been living in South Florida for most of my life.
Mm-hmm.
I went to school in New York. Michael and I both went to NYU.
Really?
Yep.
Okay.
And we went to high school together, and I've been living back in South Florida for about 3 years.
Okay, what part of South Florida?
I live in Coral Springs. I'm actually just moving soon, but it's in the Fort Lauderdale area.
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
I thought maybe South Florida, you meant you're out on the Keys or something.
Yeah, I wish.
You like the Keys?
I do. It's a long drive
Yeah.
to get down to the last key, but
Right.
the early ones are very nice.
And we went there once and just enjoyed all the way down, and
Yeah.
and spent a couple 3 days there. Had to see the sunset. You know how all that
it's
goes, and
beautiful.
the southernmost part of the
Exactly.
United States,
Yep.
and we went out to the fort. Took
The fort's really cool.
Oh, that's great.
Last time I was there, though, there was a tropical storm, and we got caught out in the rain, and we were up to our knees in water.
Wow. Yeah.
Just happened like that.
Okay. So you went to NYU,
Yes.
so what do you do?
Yeah, so I went to NYU to study theater education, and I consider myself an educator first
Sure.
and a theater maker second. And I've been teaching in New York City and in South Florida for a number of years, but for the past year, I've been the managing director of the Lovewell Institute for the Creative Arts. So I get to do what we're doing here all year round now. Get to do it full time, and we get to travel the world creating original musicals with students.
And it's original music. I'm seeing you work with it. You have this big chalkboard and writing on
Exactly.
it. And
It's just like we all work on it together, and it happens just organically like that.
Well, how do you start? How do you start doing that? I mean, how do you know which way to go?
The Lovewell Institute for the Creative Arts we use the Lovewell method to write our musicals. And it's a process that Michael and I both went through as students, and it's a process that we've been using as staff members for years now. I mean, more than 10 years we've been staff members creating workshops, creating musicals with students, and it just works from this idea of mutual respect, and that the students that we're working with, it's their musical just as much as it's ours as the staff, and we're really just there to facilitate and to bring this musical that's inside these students out into the world, and it just works from really good communication and collaboration, and we just come up with these wonderful musicals together.
It's amazing. They come up with the ideas and how the story goes.
Yep,
Is it
all
a
of
plot?
it.
Do you have a plot
Yeah,
to it?
Full
everything?
story and everything, yeah.
Really?
Yeah,
Okay.
we just sat in a circle and started pitching ideas, and eventually we landed on this one that we're going to be sharing tomorrow night.
Okay, Michael, talk to you a little bit. Your background.
Yeah, sure. So I grew up, as Tyler said, I grew up in South Florida. We went to high school together.
Well, I didn't realize that you grew up there. Then you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
I
I was born in New York, but we were both born in New York. That's funny. We were both
okay.
born in New York, and we
Same
also
hospital.
both, and this actually, that's a true fun fact. We were born in the same hospital a year apart.
Really?
Yeah, in New York. And then we ended up moving to South Florida and growing up there. And then we both went there for NYU. And I've been there ever since. So I've lived there for about 10 or so years now. And I went to NYU and I studied drama at Tisch. And after school, I continued my work with Lovewell, and I've also writing musicals and writing musical theater songs and having concerts throughout the city. I've had concerts at, Feinstein's 54 Below, at Lincoln Center, and at other places around town. And then also writing musicals of my own, which is why it's such a blast to get to do Lovewell, because it's when your job is to collaborate with your friends and with new friends to write musicals. So
Oh, wow.
it's a dream.
So, what part of Manhattan Island do you live? Where do you live?
So I live in Washington Heights,
Okay.
which is up northern Manhattan,
up
so in the 160s area.
Sure. Yeah. Above Central Park.
Yeah, north of Central Park, but close to the George Washington Bridge. It's like and what's funny is, we live right next to the Bronx, so Yankee Stadium is a 20-minute walk.
Really? Really?
So we walked to Yankee Stadium.
You walked to Yankee Stadium?
Yep, because when you're that
Across
far
the
north.
East River?
Yeah, although at that point it turns into, and I didn't know this, I found out moving up there, it turns into the Harlem River, because the East River splits off.
Yeah, right, and then
so
it goes on.
I thought, so we crossed the Harlem River into the Bronx.
Do you go to Yankee Stadium very often?
Not as much as I should, but now that the season's
It's
in
new.
full swing.
Have you been to the new Yankee as opposed to the old? How do you
Yes.
like the new Yankee?
It's beautiful.
Is it better than the old?
It's different. It's different. It's certainly more modern, but I think they did a great job of having a lot of the classic elements of the original
Sure,
stadium
yeah.
there. And
Yeah.
Michael and I actually both graduated at Yankee Stadium. The NYU graduation's at Yankee
Wow.
Stadium, yeah, which is really cool.
Yeah.
Out by the monuments?
Just in the actual stadium, yeah.
Really?
It's,
Okay.
it's wild.
You know,
yeah.
they used to have monuments in center field to Ruth and all that. And I wonder how you play in the outfield with a slab of
Yeah.
stone.
Yeah,
out
I know.
there, How do you do that?
Yeah.
Well, that's amazing. So, and you taught in New York?
Yes. So I taught for various organizations as a
Okay.
teaching artist.
Okay.
So not necessarily in the,
Not
in the
at not at
classroom
school.
all the
I was
time.
wondering. I was going to ask you what are classrooms like in New York.
Yeah.
We hear all these stories about
Yeah,
New
I mean,
York schools.
they're wonderful. I mean, the teachers there are incredible, and the students there, they're so advanced and so smart and so willing to take so many creative and educational risks. The students in the New York City school system are wonderful. They
They're
really
amazing.
You have any inside track or getting tickets to Hamilton?
are. I wish.
Have you seen either one of you seen Hamilton yet?
Yeah, I've seen
You've seen it.
Yes. Yeah.
All
It's
right,
very
you
good.
went to the bank first to get the tickets, right?
Oh yes. What was fun was seeing it at the public downtown before it went to Broadway.
Yeah.
And even then, you had to fight for tickets, and that's before it blew up into this big
Is
thing.
it still blowing up like it is?
It's
hard
still
to get
pretty
to-
big. People still camp out by the theater to get last-minute cancellation
Yeah,
tickets. And
wow.
Yeah.
Was it good?
It's very good. It's very cool.
Okay. It's a whole different thing, isn't it? It's kind of
Yeah, it's really new. It's really exciting.
a
and-
different premise, kind of, isn't it? I mean, it's not
Yeah.
just a musical thing. It's a lot of what we're looking for, the language they use and everything.
Yeah, it's used with a lot of modern language,
Yeah.
contemporary sounds.
Yeah, that's it, yeah.
Wonderfully diverse cast, and really, it's a really cool way to revisit a story that we think we know, and then there's more to it.
Sure. Okay. So, how long have you been going on with Love Well? Have you been doing this for
Yeah, I'd say
a year?
since
No.
I've been music directing Lovewell workshops since 2007.
Okay. So you go all over the country and all over the
yeah.
world, you
All
say?
over the world, yes. So this summer we're running 14 workshops around the world. So we're going to be creating 14 original musicals in Florida, Ohio, here in Kansas, in New York, and then internationally in Sweden. So
Sweden,
all over the
wow.
world, this global community
Wow.
is coming together to write these musicals.
And Lovewell, what is it? You said that their way of teaching, is that what it is?
Yeah, it's an educational and an artistic philosophy that can be used by students, by adults, but by anyone really. And so it's not limited to any one thing, but you're able to find success in so many
Sure,
different fields because of these philosophies.
So you never know when you go out. What kind of talent? How's the talent been there?
Amazing.
It's amazing, and it's so wonderful because there's such a universality to Lovewell that we've done programs. As Tyler said, in Florida and New York, but we've also done programs in a little mountaintop in Italy, with
Wow.
students who barely speak, English, and we still write a show with them. We've done it in Vegas, and no matter where you go, it's the whole point of Lovewell for me, among many things, is making something out of nothing,
Yeah.
and that's something anybody can do.
But it's also something that's scary to do too, especially if you haven't done it before.
For
And
sure.
The
Right.
students here in
Yeah.
Phillipsburg have been wonderful.
Oh my
and
gosh,
they
they're amazing.
They jumped right into it with us, and I remember when I was a student, we're doing this. It was very intimidating my first time, but I had wonderful friends who had done this before, who had created this musical before, and who I knew were not panicking, so I didn't panic. And so for the students that we have here who have never done this before to be so fearless and to be doing such a wonderful job writing this show, it's more impressive than anything I've seen in a really long time.
It's been extraordinary. I mean,
Yeah.
these students are just top notch, jumping in all the way. When we first opened up the circle to say, hey, what should our show be about? There was really no hesitation. It was just a flood of ideas, which was thrilling to watch.
And you have a premise? You have
Yeah,
a whole
so
thing?
this show, we're still writing it, even though it opens tomorrow night. And they, again, these students, they are writing everything. It's all of their ideas,
Sure.
and we're just there to help them along. And we're writing this great little musical about a small town where a famous movie star is caught up. Her home catches on fire, and
Really?
yeah, and she doesn't make it out. And so this town is sort of dealing with their most famous resident no longer being there, and the media circus that follows any big celebrity.
Yeah.
And some time has passed, and a group of college students have come to this small town to make a documentary about this actress, but everyone in the town is behaving strangely and doesn't want to talk about this famous movie star anymore. And the college students are not sure why everyone in this town is behaving this way. And so there's a mystery element to it.
Wow.
There's some great questions about what it means to chase your dreams and to be famous. It's wonderful.
And these are all done on suggestions from the
Oh, yeah.
boys and girls you have?
One of the coolest things about the Lovewell process is that as you brainstorm, you have all these different ideas from everywhere, and then they gradually get more specific, and they start to connect, and they funnel down into this one core idea. So, throughout the brainstorming process, we talked about what does it mean to live in a smaller town? What does it mean to live in a tight-knit community?
Sure.
What does it mean to go off and find something new? What does it mean to want to stay where you are, and how there's beauty in all those things? And all those ideas culminated into this very awesome show that we're writing, that we're going to finish writing today, probably.
Wow.
Yeah.
So, and then they do it tomorrow night.
And they
There's
perform it
choreography.
tomorrow.
Yeah, there'll be some choreography. They'll be up on their feet. There'll be a little bit of a set, and they're gonna have to do the whole thing. And
Wow.
it always works.
Yeah.
And it's their show. It's no one's gonna be coming in and expecting to see Hello Dolly that they've
Yeah,
seen
yeah,
100
sure.
times. This is a brand new show
Brand
that
new
they're gonna
show
see for the
written
first
here
time.
for here.
Exactly.
And do you copyright all these things? Or
Yeah, I mean the students' names are attached to the script for the rest
Okay.
of its life.
Okay.
Yeah.
And one thing that's really neat that Lovewell does is there are some shows. It's a process, and
Yeah.
Tyler can speak more to it. But they created a Lovewell catalog.
Yeah.
So some of these productions can live on. And one thing that's really cool is that's how I got involved with Lovewell. Was our school was the first, our high school
Yeah.
was the first school to produce a Lovewell show that was written by other students. And it was a thrilling thing because the students who wrote the show traveled to our school to see it, and they got to watch other people perform their work. So in their own way, all these shows live on, whether it's as another production, whether it's a song on an album, whether it's even students on their own volition making a music video and posting it online. I mean, their work will live on after tomorrow night, which is
great.
great.
Yeah, that catalog is wonderful because it allows high school students around the world to perform shows that were written by high school students for high school students. And so, it's really important to study some of those classic musicals in school, but they might not always deal with issues that the students are facing in real life, and they would get to with the shows in our catalog.
Do you use the same music, or do you for each one you do put words to it, or do you use different music?
We write the music.
Yeah,
the music
everything.
is not a
Brand
single
new.
note was written before.
Really? Well,
Yeah.
how do you
Tuesday.
do that? You just play something, and if they like it, we'll go with that. And that's
It's a little bit of both. There's some of me saying, hey, is this sort of the vibe you're going for? Sometimes a student will hum a melody, and I'll say, oh, that melody's cool. What words can we add to it? It is very, very collaborative. And one thing that's so great about music is how it is just another language.
sure.
And it's a language that some people know how to communicate really well. Some people don't know how to communicate it too well, but it is a language that everybody can and is able to speak. So
great.
it's about finding the common threads in that language so that when a student has a melody idea or a harmony idea, I mean, just this morning, the students were coming up with harmonies and say, great, let's use that harmony. Let's add on to it. How can we scaffold
Sure.
this and layer it?
Hey, wow.
So we write it all together from scratch.
Yeah.
Andrew Lloyd Webber doesn't do it that way, does he? Though?
Probably not.
Well, I think it's great that you're doing this,
Thank you.
and coming out and working. You have 3 other in Northwest Kansas, I think. Hanson, you're the first. In
Correct.
Northwest
Yeah.
Kansas.
So next week we'll be in Concordia, Kansas, doing a workshop, and the week after that we'll be in Russell, Kansas, and then we'll end our Kansas workshops in Colby, the final
Okay, well,
week.
that's
Yeah.
great. So it's every week's a new experience for you too, isn't it? I mean, it's
Exactly.
Yeah.
You don't know what's ahead of you, do you? That's going to
No.
be kind of exciting.
It's really
Yeah.
exciting, and it's very rewarding, and it just belongs to that group of people that are creating it.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, right. But you're going to do something for us here.
Yeah, we'd love to share our opening number with you
Okay.
all. So
Right. So, what do you think of the facility? I always have to ask.
this
the pe-
facility is
It's
amazing.
amazing.
We came in here and we were blown away. It's so well kept and it's beautiful.
It is.
Highly functioning. It's a wonderful space.
We're lucky to have that in
Yeah.
Phillipsburg, Kansas.
Yeah.
Everyone that comes, all professional performers come in and they say, boy,
It's
they
wonderful.
think they might have a high school gym with a
Yep.
seat. You probably get that, don't you? A high
Yeah.
school gym with a J.
Yeah, a lot of
Sometimes,
places.
yeah.
Yeah, it's like
Yeah.
that. So.
You know? So this was a definite treat.
Okay, very good. Thank you. All
Yeah.
right, you want to get set up now?
Yeah.
Okay.
Sure.
Absolutely.
All right.
And I'll ad-lib a little bit here at what's going on because that's great. Thanks
Thank
for coming.
you.
Yeah, thank you. See, I talked about the Relay for Life, and we'll get them up here. They all had their T-shirts on. After we have their first performance, then we're going to give their opening. Then we're going to give each one a mic, and they're going to announce who they are and what school they're from. They aren't all from Phillipsburg. They're from different areas. So next week we'll be back into the Tadpoll. I think we already have. I know who we're going to have next week for sure. We were going to have on this morning, and he said he'd rather come next week. He's going to be in town autographing his book. And his name is Warren Dunlap. He has a ranch north of Norton, and he's going to be on. Also, I think we have Anna Stremer's going to come on and talk with us about some things also. So, again, a reminder: this Sunday, Fort Bliss will be having their thing. The fishing event is coming up this Saturday at Kerwin. And are we ready yet? Well, they're all behind me here. Are we ready? Okay. Go for it, and then you get a chance to talk and who you are and everything. Okay. Go ahead.
As the smoke begins to rise, the flames are burning bright. Tell me I'm dreaming, something isn't right.
911, what's your emergency? There's a fire, a house at the end of Maple Avenue. I think someone's inside. Send help now.
As ashes fill the skies and gather at the sight.
It's changing, can you feel it?
Starting here tonight.
Everything we know, everything we hear, everything we love, everything we fear
Will be different. The world is gonna know, world is gonna hear where it all began, where it goes from here. It will all be different. The flame may go out, but the spark won't disappear.
This is Channel 9 breaking news. The small town home of world-renowned famous movie star Cindy Taylor has been engulfed in flame and burned to the ground. It is unclear if the starlet was inside her home at the time of the fire.
As we gaze upon the house, we smell the fire burn. Sirens in the distance, soon the world will learn. Everything we know, everything we hear, everything we love, everything we fear will be different.
It has now been confirmed that the award-winning actress Cindy Taylor was in her home at the time of the fire. She didn't make it out.
Everything we know, everything we hear, everything we love, everything we fear will be different. The world is gonna know, world is gonna hear where it all began, where it goes from here. It will all be different. The flames may go out, but the spark won't disappear. The flames may go out, but the spark won't disappear. The flames may go out, but the spark won't disappear.
Wow, that's amazing. Before Monday, this was not done. I mean, this is a brand new. To have a chance to say it's amazing what Michael and Tyler have done here. I had to look back, and it sounded like there were about 40 back there. You know, it's amazing how they sing out and everything. So what we're going to do is just pass the mic. Your name, what school you go to, and how. If you want to, you can comment on what you've done this week and what you've liked. Okay.
My name is Farron McCoy. I go to Smith Center Junior Senior High School, and I really enjoyed just being with all these awesome people and making this musical. It's been a great experience for me and a lot of fun.
Hi, my name is Haley Keller. I go to Palco High School, and this opportunity that I wasn't sure what to expect, but it has been amazing since we don't have a theater program at our school. So, yeah.
Hi, I'm Alexis Rudd, and I go here at Phillipsburg High School, and I think my favorite part is just the creative process of like starting off with so many ideas and then narrowing it down to just our final idea.
Hi, my name is Lauren Gaddis. I go to Smith Center Junior Senior High School, and I guess my favorite part is just being here and having fun, getting to create a musical, perform it. It's been great.
Hi, my name is Gavin Plant. I go to Hill City Junior Senior High School, and it's crazy how that on Monday we had no idea what this was going to be, and now we're here singing this amazing opening number, and it's even better since we don't have a theater program in my school, so it gives me a chance to do that.
Hi, I'm Brendan Kreider. I'm from Osborne High School, and I've acted in a lot of theater programs, forensics, but I've never really wrote a musical, and it makes it even better that I get that opportunity, but to be able to do it with all these talented performers, it's something.
I'm Maggie Nixon. I'm from Smith Center Junior Senior High School. I think the coolest thing is watching the process happen in just a short amount of time and see what we can create in a week span.
My name is Caitlin Godsey. I go to school in Smith Center. I think my favorite part is just the idea that all of our minds can come together to just agree on one song, and that we started from scratch on Monday is just mind-blowing to me.
Hello, I'm Dominic Rudd. I go here at Phillipsburg High School, and personally, I really love how working with all of you guys. I know that I was sort of scared and wasn't expecting anything to be this big whenever we started. I really wasn't expecting to be that successful either. I didn't know how far we were going to come, but here we are making a musical and all of everything. The music to costumes, everything. It's amazing.
Hi, my name is Theo Kazee, and I will be attending Phillipsburg High School. I'm the youngest cast member, and my favorite part about this is just the whole experience, and that Tyler and Michael took their time to come out here to a small town in Kansas. I think it's just really cool. So it's my favorite part has to be the experience, the whole thing, like doing the musical from going from Monday to just figuring out what we were going to do, and then to perform it in the same week is pretty cool.
That's great. You can see why they're all very articulate, every one of them. I mean, which is really, really nice, because sometimes the microphone, but they didn't bother them at all, any of them. I think it's really great that they had good mic presence. So tomorrow night, 7 o'clock, you have a chance to see this. And I would recommend coming down about 45 minutes, something like that, about 45-minute musical. Who knows, 10 years from now, they might be on the Majestic not in Phillipsburg, the Majestic in New York City, and on the stage there. And obviously, they all wanted maybe pursue something in theater arts. I think you guys are doing a great job. It's amazing. And then again tomorrow night, 7 o'clock, come on down. They have a lot of people here help these young people out and show them how much you appreciate it. They're still writing this. And they have to remember the words tomorrow night, and that's going to be interesting. We got the premise of the thing. So I don't know. Again, thanks for coming and bringing that experience to Phillipsburg, this area, and Concordia and Russell and Colby. It's really great that the young ones that want to follow something like this have an opportunity to do that. They don't have to go to Juilliard or anything. They can come right here and do and find out if they want to do it. Some might not want to, but some might want to. So anyway, well, that's going to do it for this morning. We do appreciate you joining us this morning. I felt we had a very, very good show with everything, the different things we talked about. And we'll see you next, Saturday morning. I'll probably be out at the swim meet, maybe have a report. Won't have a sports talk, but we'll do something out there Saturday morning at the swim meet. And then we'll see you next Thursday back at our friendly confines, I think, if they're okay. Fine, very good. All right. Thank you for joining us.